everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm your host John, and today here on the channel we're going to be talking about the follow-up to 1993's Jurassic Park, the sequel, The Lost World of Jurassic Park. And we're also going to be talking about its brand new Universal 4K Blu-ray with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos that just came out. But before we get into that, I always like to give a quick film review, and today is no different. So if you don't want to know anything about the film The Lost World and you're just here for that 4K Blu-ray review, you guys can skip ahead to that right now. So back in the summer of 1997, no film was more anticipated than The Lost World. And let me tell you, it was a great summer in 1997. We got Men in Black, and I was excited to see Batman and Robin in theaters. And I think that was the same summer that Big Mama's House came out as well. So I really remember that summer very well. It's probably the first very vivid memory of a summer that I have. I was a young kid, and of course, as a young kid who absolutely loved Jurassic Park, there was nothing bigger than The Lost World. I mean, the marketing campaign was crazy for this movie. I remember two very big marketing campaigns when I was a kid: The Lost World and 1998's Godzilla. Both of them were just absolutely huge. You couldn't escape it, and it just built up that anticipation for The Lost World. Me being a kid at the time, didn't even realize that, Steven Spielberg's coming back to direct, John Williams coming back to do the score. Either way, I was just excited to see this movie. Now, looking at it in 2025 eyes and seeing how we had to get the sequel book made in 1995 so we can make the film, and the film itself, it just pales in comparison to the original Jurassic Park. And it does hurt me to say that, because on this rewatch, I really did enjoy this movie. It's just that it's very hard to live in the shadow of an all-timer, and that's exactly what Jurassic Park is. And unfortunately, like the Psycho sequels, which I think are extremely underrated and deserve to be revisited, the Jurassic Park sequels have never been anything more to me but average at best. I would say they go from average to really bad, because there are some pretty damn bad ones when we get into the Jurassic World movies. But the Jurassic Park movies, at least this one had a pretty decent idea, even if we had to bend over backwards to get there. It does make some sense. It's just that, it doesn't make sense to even have a sequel. This definitely suffers from sequel-itis, but the original was such a huge success that Steven Spielberg and John Williams, they had to come back. And just like in 1993, Steven Spielberg directed two films. They just weren't both as successful as 1993's Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. This year we got Amistad and The Lost World. The Lost World made a ton of money. It was very popular. It's just that making Ian Malcolm the main character for me is what hurts it. And of course, that scene with him and John Hammond and everything that happened in the 4 years, how we're kind of changing around John Hammond's character a little bit because people loved him in Jurassic Park. That scene is just, it's a little bit too ridiculous to me, because it's all just a ploy to get Ian Malcolm on the island, because that's going to be our main character in this movie. And of course, the unknown second island, we have to make sure we have that. Just because we hang a lantern on a plot hole doesn't make it a plot hole. The fact that this never has come up before, and now we have to make sure we go there and, don't get too close, just document them. And then of course we have our villain, our antagonist, Peter, who is the nephew of John Hammond. Somehow he got control of the company, and of course he wants to exploit it and, make a new park, because hey, that's what capitalism is, that's what greed is, that's our big baddie in this movie. It's just that this is literally a black hat wearing baddie, just, somebody who you want to see get his comeuppance. And then everyone surrounding Ian Malcolm in this movie, they're fine. Julianne Moore is fine. Vince Vaughn, he's much better in comedy. I have never really enjoyed his dramatic work unless it's in Swingers, especially this era. I felt like he was just trying too much to be appreciated for being a great actor. That's why we end up with the Psycho shot-for-shot remake by Gus Van Sant. But either way, he's fine in this movie. And that's how everybody is. Even Peter Stormare, just fine. These guys have all been in better movies. These guys and girls have all acted in better films. So there's just no reason for them to for us to care as much about these characters in comparison to the first film, where we have great all-time actors like Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and then of course we have Jeff Goldblum, but Jeff Goldblum plays a more supportive role, and we have to change his character around even more in this movie. We love him in the first Jurassic Park, but he's a supporting player. We know that he's not really great with women. We know he's a father and likes to be a father, but in this movie we have to make him seem like he's a world-class great father. Even again, if we hang a lantern on a plot hole, like his daughter points out, you love having kids, but you don't love taking care of them, right? And she clearly still loves her father, and then we have to bend over backwards for her to be on the island with him as well. She's a stowaway. We just have to buy into that. You have to buy into a lot of stuff for this movie to work. But that doesn't mean the movie's overall just a complete out-and-out failure. No, this is one of the better sequels, mainly because Steven Spielberg's directing. You have some great tense sequences, mainly the one with whatever that is. That I guess it's kind of a Winnebago, but obviously it's been reworked to be like the main hub where they're doing all their work. That sequence with the dinosaur is fantastic. Definitely a ton of tension in there. The John Williams score is great. David, aka Shamrock Balls, argues that this is overall a better score than the original Jurassic Park. I disagree, but that also is because, again, I love the original Jurassic Park score. I get very nostalgic for it. I've said that the Jurassic Park theme is overall the best piece of music that I think I've ever heard in my life. I just listen to it all the time. Definitely in my opinion, the best piece of work that John Williams has ever composed. Now, as an overall score, I could see the argument for The Lost World. It's different. That's one thing about John Williams. He doesn't try and do something the same. Look at like Jaws and Jaws 2. Very different scores from each other. Obviously, they have to hit certain beats and everything like that for it to still feel like a Jaws score. In this case, a Jurassic Park score. You want to still make sure you hit those. It's just, it doesn't entirely work. Everything just feels like a slight step down from the original, including the vehicles. Like, we have the bright yellow and green Ford Explorers from the first one with the red and silver Jeep Wranglers. Like, I get it, it does make sense that in this movie you would have like the Mercedes that are camouflaged because there is no park in this one. They're on this island really just to get information. So it would make sense that they wouldn't have these flashy things that say Jurassic Park on there. Those make sense in an amusement park setting, whereas this, they're not in an amusement park, and it makes sense that they would have it, but everything just feels like, a little bit of a step down. The colors are more muted. Yeah, you could still have a good time watching this. I'll admit, watching it, I got nostalgic for 1997, but those feelings are just coming from me. It's like a drug. I'm getting nostalgia for being a kid again. I'm not necessarily getting nostalgic for this film, but I have been a little bit too hard on The Lost World of Jurassic Park. It is a good popcorn flick. If you're going to say that the Fast and Furious sequels are good popcorn fun, I guess you could look at the Jurassic Park sequels as just good popcorn fun as well, and try to just forget that the original one is just one of those great films that has crossed over from being just a bland genre film. It's just considered one of the greatest films of all time, and a lot of that is Steven Spielberg. Even he has said that he kind of lost like the heart while making this movie, and it kind of shows. You kind of just lose that magic with The Lost World. But I do know people who absolutely love this film, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I just don't think it hits the great tier like Jurassic Park, or in my opinion doesn't even come close. But anyway, we're also here to talk about the brand new Universal 4K Blu-ray that just came out. And just like in our Jurassic Park review, The Lost World, we were going to be comparing The Lost World in this 4K Blu-ray box set, or just the trilogy, because they did separate it. You have the Jurassic Park trilogy and the Jurassic World trilogy, so you're going to have the first 3 films in here. I'll be comparing it to the Jurassic Park 4K set that I got years ago that only includes the first 4 films, which are the only films that receive 4K Blu-ray upgrades. So if you buy the Jurassic World trilogy, the only movie in there that gets the Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision upgrade is Jurassic World. I still see people getting burned by this. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion are the same exact 4K Blu-rays that had been previously released. They're just packed in there. There is no difference. They're exactly the same one. So if you grab those, you're not getting an upgrade to those films. You're only going to be receiving an upgrade to just the first Jurassic World, which is different from the Jurassic Park trilogy because all 3 of these did receive upgrades with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos to upgrade the DTS:X tracks. And just like Jurassic Park, if you come inside, there it is. The Lost World is on the left. No Blu-rays packed in here, which is different from the previous set. Save a little bit of money. That's something I know might be a little bit of a hard pill to swallow for some people because they have been looking forward to the new color grading. And I think the best way to explain the color grading, because I saw this a lot in my original Jurassic Park review, is unfortunately, because these are the same scans that they used years ago, it's going to be impossible for this to look like a 2025 like 4K Blu-ray. Like if you're going into this expecting I just reviewed The Nice Guys. If you're going in expecting something like that, it's just not going to happen. Same thing with like Lethal Weapon. Like they're going to have to do like a brand new scan for this to be a beautiful like 10 out of 10 4K Blu-ray. They're just recolor grading the original scan that they already had done years ago, and they're putting Dolby Vision on it, and they're also going to give us a brand new Dolby Atmos track. That's it. You're not getting anything different. You're not getting any new extras. The extras are packed on the 4K Blu-ray now, which is different. They used to be on the separate Blu-ray disc, but now you can watch them in 4K. You could just leave the one disc in, and they fit it all on here. And there's plenty of extras, just like Jurassic Park. All the archival stuff, all the stuff that was new for the previous release, all of it's packed onto that 4K Blu-ray disc, and that's good. They really make good use of the space. I think it's a 100 gigabyte disc, which makes sense. And again, because of that, I always just feel like this is a if you guys play video games, this is the best way to compare it, is like it's a mid-generation update. So if you guys ever played video games and you remember like, oh, the PlayStation's out, then in the middle of the cycle, the PlayStation 3, they would come out with the PlayStation Pro, or if you're an Xbox person, you know, you'd have the Xbox One X as an upgrade to the Xbox One. And, you know, everybody knows that's just a mid-generation upgrade. So you're only going to get certain things upgraded, but it's not a full-blown upgrade. Don't expect the graphics to be night and day, but it does make some improvements. And that's exactly what they do with Jurassic Park and the Lost World. And I haven't checked out Jurassic Park 3 yet, but for this, I do feel like it's a slight step down from Jurassic Park, even though the 4K quality is identical in my opinion when it comes to the brand new Dolby Vision and that brand new Dolby Atmos track. I do think that they are noticeable upgrades, but it's just that the Lost World is a much more muted film when it comes to the colors. It's just not as bright as the original. And again, you know, a lot of greens in this movie, and it all looks good. It's just that when we get into the San Diego sequence at night and the end of the movie, which again just bothers the hell out of me. I love that San Diego sequence. It's just, it takes an hour and 50 minutes to get there. Felt like I was promised more of that when I saw the trailer in 1997. I just wanted more of that. That was the stuff that really stood out to me. Obviously, they would double down that like in Jurassic World movies, but hey, that's a story for another day. I just wanted more in San Diego for these movies. But, you know, the colors really pop when we get to those sequences. They do look a little bit better in comparison to how the previous Jurassic Park 4K Blu-ray looked. It's just not the world's biggest upgrade, but it is a noticeable upgrade. Like if you're looking at Jeff Goldblum's daughter's shirt, like the red shirt she's wearing, it looks a much flatter on the previous release, and that's always how it looks. Like the colors just look better. They look fuller. They look denser. It's the same thing with Jurassic Park, and that's the same thing that carries over to the Lost World. Just don't expect the world's biggest upgrade. Now, the audio is noticeably better than the DTS-X track, which aren't bad. The two DTS-X tracks that I've compared, Jurassic Park and the Lost World, both of them not bad at all in my opinion. They are actually pretty good. The Dolby Atmos tracks are just really good, and I really do think that this is what this movie deserved. I think that's kind of the big selling point for a lot of people, is that, you know, Jurassic Park, it's a big summer blockbuster. The Lost World was a huge summer blockbuster, and they want to try and capture those theater experiences at home, and they did a much better job mixing this. Those big tension-filled Steven Spielberg moments, it just feels so much better. And the John Williams score is kicking around, and it's mixed very well. And the Dolby Atmos track is mixed very well. I think this might be slightly better than Jurassic Park, but I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, again, the visuals kind of balance it out because much more of a muted film when it comes to the colors. So Jurassic Park might look better in 4K Blu-ray overall, but I do think that they're right on the same pace when it comes to everything. They clearly put these discs together, you know, at the exact same time. They feel exactly the same. It's just the film is different, and we're swapping out some extras. But they went in there, colored it the same way. They went in there, did the audio the same way, and I can really appreciate it. I just don't want people to be disappointed in this because I think they're going into this with too high expectations, taking advantage of the Jurassic Park fan. Like myself, I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. I'll admit, you know, I was going to wait because I would rather these be separated out, and I just wanted Jurassic Park. I mean, I'm here doing the Lost World review, but I'll be 100% honest. I was fine not watching the Lost World again for a good amount of time, but I'm glad I did because I did enjoy it. It's not like I had a bad time watching it this time around. Even though you heard me knock a lot of the film, I still do enjoy the movie. I still had a good time watching it, and the best way to watch it and the best way to listen to it is on this brand new 4K Blu-ray. Just taper your expectations a little bit, because if you're expecting a world-class 2025 4K Blu-ray, unfortunately, that's not what these are. But if you're somebody who's very disappointed with the previous release and you're glad that they have upgrading it, it is a noticeable upgrade. I think you'll be happy, but I do wish that they would separate it out so you can get the films that you want. I don't think you need to go out and rebuy all of these in this pack because they are charging a little bit too much, I think, and they obviously know that people just want Jurassic Park, and they're like forcing the Lost World and 3 on you. Not to take anything away from the fans of those films, but that does kind of feel like what they're doing. They obviously know, because, you know, if you get the Jurassic World trilogy, you're going to be paying $60 as well, when you're only getting an upgrade to one of those films. So it's a little bit dirty on Universal's part, but I'm here to judge the 4K Blu-ray for what it is, and for me, I think this is a pretty solid 8 out of 10 4K Blu-ray if I was going to give it a score of 1 to 10. And you know what? That's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will be back at some point for Jurassic Park 3, so hang tight. Same thing with the Sean Connery 4K Blu-rays. They just spread out a little bit because we have other movies coming out as well. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. We also have channel members, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo and Ben Rondo, you can do that. Or you can even become a channel director like Uncle V, Nicholas Head, Frank from Frank's Media Reviews, and Kevin Kruger. Or you can become a channel bankroll member like Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, if you got no money to throw away, guys, don't worry about it all. All I hope is that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, well, we'll be seeing you around.